Hi, drawing. I want to take a look at the directions for photography, for photographing your work, because it's really important that you guys take good photos of your work, especially for an online class. It's good to take good photos of your work when you're applying for anything, jobs, schools, anything like that, opportunities, grants. But it is going to, for class, it's built into my rubric that you take good photos. So I want to look at this document that should be, it's underneath the video. And I want to talk about how to take your photos. So when you're taking your photos, you don't need a really fancy camera. You can just use your cell phone. Most cell phones are really good these days, unless you have like a flip phone or something, in which case you might want to reach out to me. But you want to make sure that you do it in the right way. It takes a little bit of extra effort than just snapping a photo after you're done, because you have to make sure the lighting is good. You have to make sure that the work fits in the frame of the viewfinder of your camera, and you have to make sure that you're not taking it on an angle. So I'm gonna run through this sheet really quick, this like kind of cheat sheet that I have for you guys, and then I'm going to show you some examples of bad photos of what not to do in addition to the photos that I have in this cheat sheet. So let's see. So you want to find a spot outside. Well, ideally, this is how you would do it. You find a spot outside ideally on an overcast day, because if you do it in the sunlight, in direct sunlight, it gets really intense, and it's not good. You want to do it either in full shade or on an overcast day. Overcast day is best, but if you don't have an overcast day, you just go into full shade, not under a tree, because you're going to get dappled light from the the sun coming through the leaves or the branches. You're going to get dappled light. So full shade. And then what you want to do is, or if you don't have full shade, or if you don't have a place where you can do this outside, you just need to make sure that wherever it is you're taking these photos, that it's really, really well lit. And you can do this if you do have access to campus. The hallways in our building, in the FADS building, are great, or any bright fluorescent lights are fine. So that's the first thing. You want to make sure that the room or the environment that you're taking these photos in are well lit. Don't hold your phone. So the reason why I say put it on the wall, it's better if you put it on the wall, or if you tape it onto your drawing board and then you lean the drawing board up against the wall. That would really be the best way to do it. And then you want to hold, sorry, let me backtrack here. You want to make sure that there are no shadows from your arm or your hand holding the phone over the work. And there are no glare spots. And that's why that's why I recommend that you guys tape it up to the wall. You can put it on the ground here, because I do in direction, in the second part of the direction, I say to lay it down, but really the best way to do it is to pin it up. So pin it up on the wall, tape it on your drawing board, and then you want to hold your phone up to the work so that the phone is parallel with the work. Do not take photos from an angle, because it creates distortion. What do I mean by distortion? I mean this. It starts to look like this, and that's not what you want. So I'm going to come back to those photos in just a second. So make sure that it's leaning up against the wall, and that you take your phone and you hold it parallel to the surface of the two-dimensional work of art that you are photographing. Okay, let's see, where you can rest it on a table even if you have to, or a chair or something. Just lean it up against something flat. And then you want to make sure that all of the edges of your work are included in the photograph. So you want to make sure that the whole entire thing is inside the parameters or the outer borders of your view of the viewfinder of your camera. So in your phone, you should be able to see everything and a little extra. So if you're photographing it on a striped wall, I probably will see a little bit of the striped wall. For this class, that's how I want you to do it. Depends on really what class you're doing. For drawing, that's how I want to do it. That's how I want you to do it, because I want to see how big the photo is. And you can always crop that stuff out. It just depends. It really depends on your instructor and what you're doing. But for this class, for the sake of, this class, make sure you include a little bit of the background in your photo. Do not crop the image all the way to the edges of the page, because I need to see how big it is, and it gives me information that I would not otherwise have if you crop that stuff out. And then as a note here below, it says your photography skills will count as part of your submission points. So please make sure you're careful about how you take these photos. And also please include a pen, a pencil, a ruler, oops, a little typo, or something in the image so I know how big it is, because that's also part of the rubric. I need to know how big your drawings are. So let's take a look at some bad examples. So this is a bad example because the bottoms are cropped and it's taken on this weird angle. So it starts to look like this trapezoid with like cropped off corners, right? This is also an example of an image taken on an angle. Let me see some. Oh, and there's some glare here. This was really, this was an album cover, so it's shiny. So, which you're not gonna. It's hard to avoid glare, but with shiny material like this, but you shouldn't have a problem with your material. This is also cropped at the bottom here. You can see not a great photo, right? Taken on an angle and cropped at the bottom. Cropped too close. When you do the drawing, I want to see all the edges of the page, because a drawing is a drawing and a photo is a photo. And I want to see what you're drawing on that entire page. So if you crop your compositions, that does not count as cropping. You'll see in the assignments, it doesn't count as cropping for drawing. You have to draw something that is already cropped. That's part of the challenge of drawing, is that you capture what you're trying to capture on the entire page within the parameters of the page. So we're going to look at some other photos after I'm done with this. So we'll look at that as well. But this is cropped way too close. Obviously it's cutting out the sardines cans that the Beastie Boys are in, right? So obviously that's cropped way too close. Okay, shadow in the middle of the image and glare on top. Lots and lots of glare. Again, this is shiny material. You're not really going to have to worry about that, but there's a big shadow in the middle of this album cover, and it's completely like, I cannot see this, the design. If as an online instructor, as far as I'm concerned, the design is this white spot in the middle. Like, I don't know how they made that. Maybe they did it, erasing or something, or maybe they used like white paint to cover this, yellow sun or something. It looks bad, right? That looks bad. So don't do that. And then here is a good image. Now, there is a little bit of glare on top here. Again, this is shiny paper, so you're not really going to have that problem. There's only so much you can do with shiny paper, because it's shiny, right? It's glary, and that's why well, I don't want to get into that, but that's you're going to have trouble with shiny paper unless you scan it, and in which case it's still, a little bit like glary. But this is a pretty good photo. I mean, yeah, it's got some concrete on the top here because I took it outside, but I can see everything, and that's totally fine. You can have a little bit of concrete, or you could just crop it on your iPhone, but you want to leave a little bit of a border, and make sure you put a pencil in here because I need to know how big the image is. Let's take a look at some more images. Let's see, where did I put them? Here they are. Here is an actual photo of a composition. I have no idea how big this is. I don't see edges. I don't see a pencil. I think this person cropped it to make the composition look a little bit more full than it was, and that doesn't count in drawing, because you're supposed to be able to control that. you know, when you do the drawing, you'll see when we get later on into the later into the assignments that come up later on in the semester. But um you know, there's also this weird shadow. Like I don't know what that is, or what I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like a I don't know. It's distracting, right? It's distract. That's basically the point. It's distracting. I don't know what it is. And for you guys are looking at these, so you know what the photos look like. But I do not know because I'm, you know, I'm here and you're there. So please make sure that you're careful about your photos. Here's another one. It's like obvious that that's the person's hand and that's their phone, and it's also taken at an angle. So please make sure that those edges are parallel with the viewfinder of your camera. It's one of the images in your course material. Here's another one. Big shadow on the bottom right. Little bit more parallel. Could have left a little more space on top, but I get it because this is the spiral of the 14 by 11 sketchbook. So it's the problem here is the shadow, right? Here's one. What's wrong with this one? It's not the right size, right? All of your drawings should be 18 by 24 inches. So you want to make sure that that pencil represents 18 by 24 inches, right? Like the pencil is not going to look that big if this was really an 18 by 24 inch drawing. And that's why I have you guys put something in there so I know how big your drawings are. Also, the cropping, like, this, you know, it's missing some like this part of the drawing's missing. It's like I can't see it, so just be wary. This one is like, you know, it's like a little better, but you got this shadow here, right? And it could be a little better. The size, you know, it is really just better to put a ruler in there so I know exactly how big it is. I think this is the right size. It looks right. But the cropping is not great and there's a big shadow. There is a big shadow on the bottom right side, or the right side of the composition. So, or the photo. So just be careful of that. Nice photo. Leave some, you know, leave some space on the edges, but it's on like printer paper or something, which is way too small. So, although this is a nice drawing, very nice drawing. Nice drawing and good lighting, great lighting. I would just leave some border. Like, let me see the rug. Let me see the wall. Let me see the rug, right? Whatever is in the background, let me see the background. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. And if you guys have questions, email me. And if not, I will see you on Canvas.